have a job that's just sucking the life right out of you?
Shang Tsung wins flawless victory. Fatality.
You decide, you know what, I'm going to go and get my TEFL certificate. I'm going to go to other countries, get paid to travel. It's going to be awesome. But then you're either worried or you're currently in a job that's a TEFL job that's sucking the life right out of you. Here to make those worries just go away. What's up, Big Spot Nation fans thereof? It's Gotta Watch Matt here, another edition of the Gotta Watch Matt channel. Now this is a big concern that is justifiable that everyone has, but it's not really that big of a deal. I'll give you my own personal example. In Indonesia, when I first went there, and when I arrived, it was a 60 or 30-day tourist upon arrival visa, whatever. Got the old stamp. Boom. And within the first week, week and a half, the school booked a ticket for me to go to Singapore to get a 60-day tourist visa. So that was cool. They paid for it. And there is a 90-day probationary period, which is the same thing as my job over here, where not only did I have to prove myself to the school had to prove itself to me. So it's actually on both ends there. So, like, say for example, if after the first 30 days I just didn't like it and didn't think it was going to be good, I could just tell them, hey, I don't think this is going to work out, and they said, all right, no problem, and get that first month's pay and part as friends. Or say, for example, if it was horrible, or even if I got screwed and nothing was there, I lived by one of the biggest cities in the world, Jakarta, where I could have just gone into there and gotten a job within 2-3 days maybe. It wouldn't have been a big deal. And same thing with here in Bangkok. If you're in really smaller, remote areas, that might be a little more difficult. But it's not going to be a big deal. You're not going to be worried about, oh God, no, I'm halfway around the world, I'm screwed. No, you won't be. The second way to go ahead and deal with a job that maybe it sucks is to write it out. That's what I'm doing right now. I was thinking of a way, and the reason why it took so long for me to talk about this is I was thinking of a way to still be constructive and not make it a bitch session. And I've thought of a way to do it, and hence the beginning part of my video. Now, I'm not going to completely blame this on the school, but there's a lot of unnecessary work at that school. It's not like all that it's definitely not like that in all of Thailand. It just happens to be this particular chain of schools. Maybe I can even get an interview with a friend of mine's boyfriend, who he says, no way in hell I work as hard as my girlfriend. We don't have that much work. So don't need to worry about getting overworked. But I put as much effort into my students here that I did over in Indonesia at English First. And I did work a lot hard. I did work just as hard, and I put that same sort of hard work into here. One thing I didn't consider, though, was the fact that I have 8 times the students. That's 8 times the work. And it got to the point where I was like, oh God, I'm overwhelmed. And it really was like, oh, this wasn't a good idea at all. Oh, too much work. It was cutting into a lot of my personal time. And my personal time is very precious to me. And I'd rather do what I want to do on my own personal time, not something that I get backed in the corner to. So half that's my fault, but there's also still the necessary work that the school has us do. I'm not going to really get into big details, but one main example I'll give you is there is no preset final exams. We have to write our own 100-question final exam. Which, okay, that's not too bad. Like, one of my buddies that got hired on at the same time as me, he teaches English, and he doesn't have any honors classes, so he just has one exam. Alright, not bad. Me. I teach 3 different grade levels, so that's 3 100-question final exams that I had to write. Another friend of mine had 4, and one last friend of mine, she had 6. So that was really hard, and it was insane for me to grade all of those. If it wasn't for the fact that one of the Chinese teachers, a good friend of mine, she helped me out, I'd still probably be grading right now. Oh God. But the good thing is I've learned from it. I learned what not to do for next semester, and I'm also just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna write it out, because one thing you have to keep in mind, that wherever you go, like whether it's Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, Indonesia, blah blah blah, China, the world's at your fingertips. Take the first job you can get, and then be picky. So you can take the first job and just ride out to get a lot of cool bonuses. I'm going to be getting, I think, double pay, or was it 2 months pay bonus at the end of my contract, and I'm also going to get $10,000 out of $10,000 baht back that they took out for just deposit reasons, because the school owns the apartment complex that I live in. So yeah, just write out, because remember, you took that main step that no one else ever does. You got here. You got here to Bangkok. You got there to Taiwan. You got there to Japan. Not many people do that. They back out at the last second. You're there. Make the most of it. You're that 1% of the population that just acts instead of just hopes and dreams. So don't worry about it. Write it out. Everything's going to be okay. Alright guys, that's it. I'm out of here. So if you have any questions, comments, accusations, please leave in the section below. And go ahead and like this, share it. This is going on for pretty long, but it's probably one of my most important videos that I'm putting out there right now. And it'd be really awesome if you guys could share it. Okay, that's it. Gotta watch Matt. Signing off soon.